So in 2018, Bergen Kunsthall started a 4-year grant called Reimagine Europe, and it's funded by Creative Europe. And it links us with 9 other organisations across Europe who are all working with artists who are working with performance or new media, technology, music. And the purpose of the grant is to get us as organisations to really think about how we're working and who we're working with, and how we're opening up our institutions for different kinds of work and activity and audiences. And when I first started at Bergen Kunsthall, I met really early on Unge kunstkjennere, who are Bergen Kunsthall's youth group, and they formed a few years ago with a real purpose to not just attend a programme organised by Bergen Kunsthall, but to really lead a programme for themselves and other young people, and to find a way to make the Kunsthall more open and more welcoming to other young people, with the aims of Reimagine Europe to get us to really rethink and reimagine how we're organising our organisations. Then I invited an artist and educator from Barcelona in Spain called Jordi Ferreiro, who's been working for a long time in different institutions to sort of look at and interrupt how organisations are structured.
In August we started a workshop. When we met Jordi, he had like giant plastic ropes that you use when you paint to cover the floor, and he gave us tape, and he said, well, we're going to like make a house out of this. I was like, okay. So we taped it together with masking tape, and then used a fan to blow it up, and then we like made other sort of bubbles of the same material. Then we taped them onto the big bubble that we had already made, and then we made rooms, and I went one with a window, and like we sat inside of it, and it was really, really fun. We worked with an artist called Jordi, and he came from Barcelona, and then visited us, and we had 2 workshops back in August 2018, and we sort of I think the first thing we did was we tried to look at the Kunsthall from every angle and every corner, because like part of the project is we got a fund from the EU to do something sort of like looking at Kunsthall, and like how is the organization built up, like why do the cleaners come beforehand, who is it really accessible to, and all these types of things. What we first did was to sort of deconstruct it and look at it from every corner by visiting like the sound engineer and the backspace from there, like where to make all the cables for, Landmark, which I was really excited about because I like stuff that has to do with soldering. And then we went to like the roof, even though we weren't really allowed to go to the roof. And we went to the basement, and we went to this like small crawl space and found the old sign for the Kunsthall, and found a great place to play hide and seek. And this is like sort of the woodworking room, because a lot of the installations, they change over time, so they have to do a lot of either work with the artist to build stuff they need, or just change the space altogether, and they have a lot of materials there. And then we walked around and I did lots of stuff, and I ate lots of snacks. We visited the Blind Association because they rent part of the Kunsthall over there, and we wanted to talk to them and see every corner of the Kunsthall, because this one wasn't open to us. It's because other people are working there, and they talked a lot about how what different types of blindness there are, what types of tools that people use in order to help them. As you see there, they have like a cabinet that show all of them, and then what's important when working with blind people and helping them, and sort of how society is accessible to blind people.
Something that developed after one of our blind mother, came with her son and wanted to see an exhibition in Kode, and was stopped because she had a dog with her. Oh. Yeah. So 3 years ago, I think, and it was media attention to it, and she told them that my son is a bigger risk for your art than my dog is. So why would you let my son, a 6-year-old, maniac in your exhibition when my dog is not allowed.
Yeah.
So after that we have had this very good cooperation with Koda.
Usually the front entrance of the Kunsthall, it doesn't have any sort of ramp or anything, and we're not allowed to change it because it's a historical building, so it should be like preserved, I guess. That's what Bergen Kommune wants it to be. But they have a ramp, but it's around the back, so you have to like go around. You have to go up front. You have to talk to someone. You have to ask them to unlock the back. Then you have to go all the way around back into a space which is filled with dust and cobwebs, in order to get into the front of the Kunsthall. So we closed the front of the Kunsthall, and then we made that back door the main entrance, and then we took away the dust, and we put like carpets there and made it nice, and wrote like arrows so people would understand that they were supposed to go around. And we thought it would be more accessible to people in wheelchairs, but it turned out that there was a lot of parents with small children that really enjoyed it because they could bring their strollers in through that door.
And inside we made an alternative ramp, or sort of a ramp to illustrate how it would be if there were one. But it was quite tiny because the real one would be like 8 meters or something. So it would cover the whole entrance area if they actually had a ramp. 3 questions that we hang up on the wall were more for that so people could be involved in the process of the takeover. So it wasn't only us who took over the Kunsthall, but we wanted to give other people the opportunity to say how they would like the Kunsthall to be. So we just put up the questions sort of to get them started. People would stop and look at the posters, and then I would come up to them and said, "What do you think?" And they would say, "I don't know. No, I don't know." And then I would just give them a pen and then said, "Try, just write what you think." And they were sort of hesitant, especially the Norwegians, because Norwegians don't do stuff like that. But then in the end, they wrote something, most of them.
I think seeing also people like doing stuff without you talking to them, just like, oh, picking up a pen or like asking questions, or like, oh, snacks, that's so cool. Or some cartoons as well.
Yeah.
I mean, like the dad over the orange light door, you can't see it from here, but it's a dad with like a trolley with a baby in it. That's like Bart, hungry baby, and he's like, oh, can't come in. And also just the fact that we made something, it was a process. It wasn't just like hanging up a picture and people came and looked at it and then left.
Yeah, just like that. It was an active process that changed through the day, or through the different workshops too.
The idea of making the plastic sculpture was to think about how like museums and art institutions are often white spaces with flat walls and hard floors, and we all like understand how we're supposed to behave in them. And so the idea with making the plastic sculpture or plastic building was to make something that could be any shape and that could change shape and that could be the shape that we wanted to and that could be built by lots of people at the same time. To think about an architecture which sort of responds to what we wanted it to be.
The plastic bubble, it made me feel quite like a child in again, and sort of having that like youthful glee of just making something and having fun with it. And I thought that was really exciting. I think also people like thinking it was cool, but like sort of opening their eyes with how the Kunsthall is made. Like, oh, well, it isn't really accessible to everyone. Like, oh, I never knew there was a side entrance. So people being like thankful that they could now use it.